from hype to trust. Influencers as authentic brand ambassadors and opinion leaders.
So we're still good morning. Good morning, everyone. How is the energy in the room? Man, I love you. So today I'm going to speak about a very important topic. Can I make sure? Yeah. It's about being an influencer versus being a real brand ambassador. Everybody hears me well? Yeah. So before we start, okay, who in the audience today using the social media as a content creation to drive business, being kind of an influencer? Who's here? No. Yes? Superb, superb. Let me start with that influence. That's a statement that I deeply believe in. That influence without trust, it's an absolute noise. And the power of influence lies in trust, which means it's more towards being believed and trusted rather than being seen. So the question that we're going to address today, it's either people trust you or they're just watching you. Just a very quick thing about myself. I used to be in a corporate and ex-CMO of Samsung, then became an entrepreneur, and as well as an Olympic athlete. Back in the days when I used to run the Samsung marketing division, back in the days, I mean, influencer marketing was very strong. We used to hunt influencers to do a lot of campaigns. But down the line, going forward, I was looking at Instagram one day, and I've seen an influencer that I've been following. He was promoting a watch, and he called it, it's a life-changing watch. And then after another week, he was promoting another watch and called it a life-changing watch. So it was like, there is no trust, there is no belief. For me, it was like just a paycheck. And I stopped and I said, like, if I, as an entrepreneur and a content creator, if I don't believe what I'm seeing, I'm sure a lot of people don't believe. And the problem here, we're living in an era which is called influencer fatigue, which means that our audiences totally see the fake sponsorships that happens. What I mean fake doesn't mean just fake. It means that we're doing for the sake of a paycheck. Do we all agree with that? Yeah. Who's tired of that? Yeah. And we've seen that, like, by statistics and data, like almost 70% of people, they're not, I would say, buying products from influencers because they're tired. They know it is coming from just a paycheck perspective. So what brands are doing, they're just pouring a lot of money, but they're forgetting one thing, that they lost credibility, they lost trust. So how we move from just a hype of promotion to trust, that's a critical question. So let's start by how the evolution of influence started, from the TV ads to the social media, like influencer marketing, and then the trust economy, which means from an absolute passive advertising to an active storytelling. But you know, during this journey, the credibility of influencers got down. From an old model of post, get paid, repeat, to a new model, post, create a real impact, and be a brand ambassador. So not just I'm watching you and listening to you, I am trusting you and believe. To become a real, I would say, influencer, you need to follow a formula, which starts with three things: authenticity, consistency, and credibility. Authenticity means, do I really believe in the product and I use it? Consistency means, do I have a clear message and a specific message that connects with my audience? And third is credibility. Does my audience respect the knowledge and expertise that I have? These are the three pillars. But the point is, trust is built in layers, and one absolute fake promotion can destroy it. Let's look at these two, I would say, like, let's put it in that way, influencers. One that aligns 100% with the values from a personal perspective and a brand, and the other one is just a promotion. Who do you think creates an impact? The alignment creates an impact. Do we agree with that? The alignment of values now creates an impact. With showing of hands, who agree with that? Showing of hands, superb. So if there are brands in the audience, stop running after hype promotion. You need to ask yourself, when you're partnering with influencers, do they really use the product? Do they have expertise in this space? Do their audience trust them? And most importantly, are they selective in their collaborations? Because we live in an era, collaboration after collaboration over collaboration, we lose our identity and we lose our values. So these are the questions that the brands need to ask. Why I'm saying this? Because I run one of the biggest podcasts and shows in the region. And when I started the show, I was super hyper. I wanted to go viral. So I got big names, created aha moments. But I had one guest who was a billionaire. And he told me, like, Seif, people are not watching you because of just your content. They're watching you because of your way of thinking, because they believe in what you said. So it absolutely changed my mind. I need to build trust. I need to build credibility with my audience. So real influencers, I would say, they build credibility, and credibility from that perspective means wealth. So if you want to build that type of influence, which comes from trust, you have 4 pillars you have to act upon. The first one is to educate people. The second is to build a legacy. Third, is to be selective. And last, to have credibility. And I'm going to go quick into this, I would say, the alpha influence formula. You need to educate and not entertain. Most influencers entertain. But the real influencers that dominate educate. When you entertain, people laugh. Short-term viral, but they forget you. When you educate, you teach them something. They remember you. So again, I want you to be the person that makes other people smarter, educating them. Let's look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not selling Tesla and cars and that's it. He's educating the audience, the people, about AI, Mars exploration, sustainable energy, and that's why his influence goes beyond his products. So you need to ask yourself, what can you teach the audience that no one else can? That's an absolute critical question. Oh, no. Oh. And second pillar of the alpha formula is to have something bigger than yourself, a mission. You need to tie your personal brand to a movement. It's not only about you. So the world follow leaders. They don't follow self-promoters. If you don't have a clear mission, and if you don't have a clear, I would say, objective, culture, movement, you will be lost in the noise once the trend fades. So always remember that hype fades, movements last. One of the great examples that we have is Steve Jobs and Gary Vee. Steve Jobs was not selling phones. He was selling a culture of think different. Gary Vee the same. He's not just a marketing guy or an entrepreneur. He's selling a culture of hustle, personal development. So you need to understand what is the bigger mission that you have for your brand, and you need to capitalize on that. Third, you need to be very selective, and you need to say no. The greatest word in influence is no. I remember back in the days when I was launching my podcast, and I absolutely wanted to have some cash in to move the business. And I got a great brand, but I don't believe in it. And the amount was big. And I kept asking myself, should I do that or not? Should I do that or not? Because I believe my audience won't believe in that. And I turned it down. But literally in a couple of months, I got a brand that absolutely aligned with my vision, with my mission. So the power is no. You need to think of Cristiano Ronaldo, Joe Rogan. Cristiano Ronaldo said to Coca-Cola, what, bye-bye, because he doesn't believe. That was a sponsorship, a huge one. Joe Rogan, the same. put down a lot of sponsorship agreements until he reached the $100 million deal with Spotify. So you need to ask yourself, what is the last thing you've said no to? And if you absolutely don't remember, then you're running after hype and not trust. So you need to be very careful with that. You need to also understand that trust is built over time. It's not overnight. It's like a compounding interest. I would say, I don't want to say fake influencers, but the people who run after the right away win, they lose because it's trend. When the trends fades, they fade as well. But the alpha influencers, they play the long game. I love the idea of a long game. Keep going. If the results are not coming now, they will come because you're connecting absolutely with belief and trust with your audience. Great example, Mr. Beast. To get his first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, it took years. The same, The Rock. He was showing up every single day, being a wrestler, then in Hollywood, then being a businessman, showing up every single day. It's an absolute long game. And trust me, the slowest route to wealth, to power, is to chase the shortcuts. So you need to look at your latest 10 posts. Will we understand that it is an absolute random content, or there is a strategy behind? You need to have a strategy. You need to be consistent to connect with your audience from a trust perspective. Because the brutal truth is very simple, that a lot of people will not build influence. They will fade. And I want to leave you with one idea here today that absolutely changed my mind. One person just came to me and said, like, Seif, let me ask you this question. If your audience could see every decision that you make behind the scenes, from a deal to a product to whatever, they will still trust you or not. And based on this, I built everything from my businesses, from my shows, from my products around trust. Because it's simple again, that hype fades and trust lasts. So are you building a hype or you're building trust? Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it and keep building trust.